Hi, I'm Ethan. I love muzzleloading. Today we're back with Wayne Estes and Tim Cosby to go through their one-of-a-kind display showcasing the advancement and the evolution of contemporary long rifle building from the 1940s to today.
Well, Wayne and I collect contemporary rifles, and we've been friends for a while, and we enjoy each other's company, enjoy each other's rifles, and share information back and forth. And last year, if you remember, we had a fairly nice exhibit, and we said we we're going to do better this year. So this year is probably the max we're going to do. We have 40 rifles by 40 different makers on display here. And he's got about 20 and I have about 20 here. Plus we had a couple of friends that loaned us a gun or two that we didn't own. But we have 40 rifles by 40 well-known makers on display here. And we have tried to set it up in chronological order as best you can, because some of them overlap and some of them have moved from one place to another. But if you start over on the right, you start with the beginning of the evolution of the modern builders of contemporary rifles. You've got Hacker Martin, Royland Southgate, and Lester White, and Lester Smith, and some of the others that begin this thing. And you come all the way around, and you end with Judd Brennan. So you kind of got not all the builders, and we couldn't get everyone, as you know. There's just too many for us to get all of them. But we got a very good cross-section of some of the better builders on display. It has been well received. There's been a lot of folks come through and really enjoyed seeing the work by some of the people they don't ever get to see, because some of these people are dead. Some of them only made a few guns, and some of them were in different parts of the United States, so we didn't have access to them. So it's been a fairly monumental task putting it all together, but it came out well, I think. So we're real proud of it.
right there.
Wayne did a lot of the work. He did a lot of the organizing. We back and forth. He's responsible for the layout, for the signage, and maybe he'll tell you how he came into putting the layout. So I'll turn it over to Wayne now.
What we tried to do is, as Tim said, start from the beginning of the contemporary movement and feature either geographical zones that guys lived in or particular schools.
Right.
For example, chapter 1 is a bridge to the past, and all those guys were the very genesis of this contemporary movement we have. Our next chapter is a maker who had a giant footprint on this thing and had a big footprint on it early on, and is responsible for a lot of the higher echelon contemporary makers, and that's John Bivins. And we call that the John Bivins effect. Had to generalize on chapter 3, but these are makers that lived and operated along the eastern seaboard.
I love that tight curl maple. Yeah.
The Southern boys, which obviously the Woodbury School is involved there, as well as Frank Bartlett, Jim Parker from down the way here, and Mike Miller.
One of the things I feel I mentioned, somebody that made a special donation to this old ship was Sarah Miller. She donated a bunch of beer oil, like 8 bottles. We didn't want to sell it by itself, but I stuck those bottles of oil in different bags, and that bag whoever just bought it, there's a 5 ounce of beer oil in there. As a value added thing. So that some of you are going to have surprises when you get your item.
Then we've got the Pennsylvania guys. You cannot forget the old country. And some of our contemporary people here, those guys are all here living with us now, except for David Dodds, I believe.
And she's happy to be there, so again, it works out pretty well.
All right, beautiful pieces of meat. Look at that craftsmanship. And let's go.
And again, this is a collaboration of a number of different people around the country. All of us were either president or corporate law enforcement, or put together an executive representative of that on the front corner. Somebody was out.
Good looking knife right there. And let's go. Give me $1,000. And I say 75, 325, $200. If I insulted you too much, I'll be out back for about 5 minutes. You can come kick my ass back there if you want to. And that's about all I got. Thank you.
All right, everybody, that concludes the auction. Don't forget, we got a silent auction. We'll close tomorrow at 12 noon. We got a raffle out there with a really nice. Catch more bites that way before I have another set.
And if you go to this table, you'll see a lot of work here that is not traditional. It is the proper evolution of this contemporary movement, and we wanted to do that. The work is plausible, but you're not going to find it in any of the old books, and it's the natural progression of, and the correct, in my opinion, progression of the contemporary movement. My thought on contemporary long rifles is they cannot remain static. We have to, as human beings, develop and create our own style. And some of the top guys out there are doing exactly that. And for example, you've got a Fred Riley and a Judd Brennan there. The last two guns there are based off of something that was done a long time ago, but they put their own sauce in that soup. And that's what we wanted to do. I wanted to put together the biggest pile of contemporary guns that's ever been done in a show, and I think we've managed to do that. It was a lot of work, but I think we pulled it off, and hopefully it was well received from everyone here.
It's been a real treat doing it. I of course, you know, we both really enjoy the contemporary guns and collect guns, and it's been really interesting organizing the guns so that they kind of flow. You start on that end and come around and you finish with what you would call modern contemporary guns. And like Wayne said, they're based off of guns that were built as far as, let's say, shape and schools, but the work done on them is entirely different than what you will find that was done back then, but it is very pleasing work. You know, it just shows a development by some very talented people. You know, they took what was original and they added their own original concepts to it, and did a very good job of it. They're very competent artists here, and that's what they truly are. From start to stop is artists. It's a type of art, and a lot of people have really enjoyed seeing all this. In fact, there's been some made 2 or 3 trips through here. There have been builders here that have looked at their own work from years ago, and they re-examine it to see what they did 20 years ago. You know, and really, well, I don't remember that. You know, so anyway, it's been very satisfactory to us to see this happen. It really has. So
one of the toughest things that we had to do was choose 40. Right. I have a very large collection of contemporaries. Tim has a very large collection of contemporaries, and we had to choose 40. There's several phone calls with legal pads and check marks and pencils and draw him out. We we got to go with him here, and he's got to go there.
And we left some good guns off because we just didn't have room to put them.
A lot of really good contemporary makers did not make the cut.
Right. Well, and we hope no one feels slighted by it, because we had a kind of a role we wanted to play with these guns, and when you get one in that particular slot, then there's no point in putting another one there.
Right.
And so, you know, that's kind of the way we looked at it. It doesn't mean that we like one builder better than another builder. It's just we did not have room for everyone. And we're already talking about what we're going to do next year. And it'll be different. And it probably won't be 40 guns. I can tell you that's a lot to handle. That's a pretty good hill to climb. So
your sons were telling me about how much it took to load and unload all of these.
they did, and getting it all organized yesterday morning was really tasking, because you start sorting 40 guns, and fortunately Wayne had all the names and all the placards made, which made it a lot easier for us to organize it. I can imagine what it would have been like if he hadn't had all the names and stuff ready to tell us where to put them, you know. But still, sorting through 40 guns and getting everything done was a pretty good task, you know. It's a lot of work, and we've enjoyed it, though, and hope everyone else has too. And the good thing about us is we don't mind someone handling our guns and looking at them, you know. If they want to pick one up, you see some guy, he's trying to see the detail on the backside, go ahead and pick it up and look at it, you know. So that's what we're about. They do in a safe, hid away from the world. They don't do anybody any good. You know, they're made to be looked at. As I said earlier, they're art, and it's a art that needs to be displayed. So that's what we're doing. So.
Well, I appreciate you both coming on camera to talk about it, bringing the display here for everybody to see.
Well, we enjoy it. It's a kind of a love of what we do that makes us do this. So. I believe the title of your show is "I Love Muzzleloading."
Yes, sir.
We love muzzleloaders.
We're this far from a mental illness. There's a line between obsession and mental illness, and
we're right on the brink. We're riding right.
Keep pushing that line up a little higher.
Right,
you know?
we're right on the line. But anyway, people say, "Can't you have enough?" No, you can never have enough muzzleloaders. You can never have enough muzzleloaders. Always one more. So.
I'd like to thank Tim and Wayne again for sitting down with me during the show to go through their display, and I hope that you enjoyed the video as well. I know it's a bit of a longer video here. I know it's a little bit of a different video, but I wanted to try to do justice to the dedication that Wayne and Tim have put into this, as well as each of the muzzleloaders on display. I'll have some stills from the videos at ilovemuzzleloading.com if you'd like to check this out. And through the video you saw we had the names of each of the builders associated with each of their muzzleloaders. So I encourage you, do a little bit of research and see some of the other work that these builders have done. It's neat to see all of these builders in context going back to Hacker Martin to today, but if you enjoy that kind of timeline, you can see a lot of these builders from their start to where they are today. So if you're interested in that kind of timeline, I encourage you to reach out and seek out some of these builders' work through time. So much of it is available and viewable online now, so it's just a really fantastic thing if you're interested in contemporary long rifle building.